This live stream is presented to you by MaxSpeed TV. All live streaming content that is presented in this telecast is owned by MaxSpeed TV, Rudy Cummings, and the entire crew of MSTV. This may not be rebroadcasted, retransmitted, and retelevised without written consent. Please enjoy today's broadcast. We welcome everybody here live for tonight's event, getting set to go green here just momentarily live at Watkins Glen International for the iSCAR SYMTV Truck Series, if I haven't said that yet. Glad you tuned us in here live. My name is Ezeckiel Reyes.
And I'm Dewey Schramm. Thank you guys for tuning in here once again here tonight. It's been a while since we've had a truck race here on the schedule. The last one 2 weeks ago on February 5th. When Malachi Drake took the win at Kansas. So good to see the trucks back out there once again tonight after the Super Late Model race on Wednesday. And we'll see what these guys have in store here for part one of our road course chase weekend.
Yeah, we're going to be running 3 road courses in a row. It's going to be Watkins Glen, Roval, then back at Watkins Glen with the Xfinity Series. So it should be a fun set of road racing that we should see throughout the course of this weekend. It should be interesting to see on how all these oval guys will interpret and try to judge themselves here for tonight's event, especially when it counts toward the playoffs. Speaking of playoffs, we'll pull up points here right in front of your screen.
Yeah, Malachi Drake with that big win 2 weeks ago at Kansas with those bonus points. He's now the points leader coming into tonight, but of course only by 3 points over literally everybody else in the field. So with 10 trucks only separated by 3 points, these guys are going to have to be even more on their game than they were in the first round because all those extra points from the first round are now gone. So Christopher Weil, guys like him that have been up front all season, they're now on a level playing field with everybody else. So even people like Chris cannot afford a mistake now this late in the game.
Yep, that is right. 6,000 points is the reset. And of course, Malachi Drake, Blaze Crawford both earning bonus points from last round. Of course, Blaze with a 1 point because of a pole. And Malachi with 3 points because of the win at Kansas. And you see right there an interesting name inside this top 10. Nick Miller has now been sort of reinstated back inside this top 10 because Liam Sheen has voluntarily dropped out of this 10-car playoff field. So Nick Miller, who was eliminated last season, I mean not last season, but last week, or actually a couple of weeks ago, is now back in the playoffs. So we'll see what kind of recovery he could pull here from this one.
Yeah, we saw Nick Miller. I believe he only missed this round by 1 or 2 points. So despite that, gets another chance here to potentially go for the championship with Liam Sheen deciding to drop out. We'll see what the 95 can do with this second opportunity.
Yeah, that is right. Currently 20 seconds left in practice remaining right now. We'll pull up the fastest times here on the left-hand side of the screen. Parker White fastest, Weil is second fastest. Gardner, Basin, and Diallo round out the top 5. It's Cole Williams, Michael Bracero, Sir Tajman, Hunter Johnson, and Mitch Hobbs rounding out the rest of the order inside this top 10. We'll get situated here and set ourselves up here just momentarily as we step aside to play the national anthem. Rise out in Riverheads as we salute our nation's colors. We welcome everybody back here live for the iSCAR SYMTV Truck Series event, currently live here at Watkins Glen International qualifying, happening right now. 10 minutes of qualifying, so double the time of what we have usually on the oval side, so drivers of course could log in at least a lap. And of course qualifying here is important because most likely this race is going to go green from start to finish.
Yeah, with longer qualifying laps, of course. Longer qualifying time allotted, so we'll see what these guys can do here with these 8 minutes at their disposal. Get a look here at Tyler Connors in the 44, picked up a solid top 10 run at Bristol a couple weeks ago. I believe actually was a top 5 in that race. And here's a look at his teammate Carson Poindexter as he makes his way out of the final turn and on to the front stretch. Dylan Bass, another SPM truck there in the 08.
Yeah, this track, I think it's a total of 7 turns around this racetrack. I think, trying to think of something off the top of my head. I just lost my train of thought there, unfortunately, but 7 turns, I think, throughout this whole entire racetrack. 2.5, I mean, not 2.5, 2.45 miles is the length around, so a lot of racing real estate around this racetrack, and it's not like your typical road course like we see at Sonoma and, I guess the Roval, we could call it typical, as well as Road America. Not a lot of turns around here, only 7, or 9 if you want to include the bus stop, but it is a very, very momentum-based track. You got to keep your pace. You got to hold your pace to be competitive here around this racetrack, or else you won't be there at the end.
Yeah, Watkins Glen, of course, like other road courses, you have to really be on your toes for an entire lap. You know, of course, here at the road courses, you're making right turns in addition to left ones. So, of course, much different than the ovals that we're accustomed to seeing. So we'll see how these guys tackle it here tonight and see who can come out on top. And that is not good for Mitch Hobbs, and he will back it into the guardrail here on his second lap. And that's going to be a tow for him. So hopefully that 1:14.7 that he put down is going to be good enough to keep him right around where he is in 4th.
Yep, that's right. It's actually 8 turns throughout the racetrack, not 7. I know they relabeled the turns because to not confuse everybody to the bus stop and, of course, not chicane, the inner loop down in the other end of the course. But see Christopher Wild, this number 41, roaming down the back straight. We'll get on board on him as he roams into the bus stop portion.
Guy that's led the points all season pretty much. We've been up in the top 2, top 3, of course, won the ARCA championship. Currently the points leader in the Super Late Model Series, trying to potentially make it. I mean, he has a legitimate chance to potentially get all 5 championships here in iSCAR this winter season. And that'd be absolutely unprecedented if he were to do it. But of course, got to have one foot in front of the other, and before he can worry about the Cup and Xfinity ones, got to worry about this one as he makes his way out of the final turn. We'll see where this lap puts him on the charts, and we'll see if it's faster than that pole lap that Parker White's got going so far. And it looks like it is going to be good for 3rd so far. So a pretty good lap for that 41. It looks like so far only about half the people in the session have put a lap down, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's not good. That's still him based in the 08, and Tyler Connors still sitting on pit road. Taj Mon about to log in a lap, though, as he works himself onto the front straightaway, across the start-finish line, and seems as though that lap is not counted. So, of course, if you get, like, any type of incident, including 0Xs, like scraping the wall or something like that, that lap will be invalidated. So, unfortunate for all these drivers who have some sort of issue. They're not going to be there at the end, but so seeing, oh, that's not good for the 12 100 Johnson, and he's going to, nail it into the guardrail. Unfortunate for him. Ryan Kendrick working himself out on the racetrack. I think this is his first truck start. It's been a while since we've seen Kendrick on the truck side.
Yeah, I'm not sure when his last truck start was either, but good to see him out there after showing up for the super lates on Wednesday. And I don't think he really showed up to those either. Maybe stepping out of his comfort zone, perhaps. And we'll see how he fares here in tonight's race.
Yeah, it seems like everybody has logged in at least their good lap. See William Schmidt working himself through the bus stop. I don't know. This track is labeled fairly weirdly. I'm looking at the Google images and like some of them label it with 7 turns, which I'm accustomed to. Some of them, like the Wikipedia page, it labels them with 8 turns. Some of them label with 11. It's just all over the place. So we're just gonna label it as 7 turns, as I previously stated, because I'm accustomed to that. And I'll guide you through these turns along with William Schmidt as he works himself through the final one. And that's the 7th one. Off the final corner. Oop, tags the outside wall.
Don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's definitely not what you know to do.
Yeah, Williams sporting the Norm Benning paint scheme that ran last week and in the race that's currently going on at the Daytona Road Course. Fun fact, William has his name on Norm Benning's truck. One of the people that paid, I believe it was $50 to get his name on there, so pretty cool for him. See how he fares in that truck tonight. As we get a look here at the 080 Basin coming out of the last turn. And we'll see what he can do for a lap across the line. We're the 14th driver to put a lap down here. And it looks like this is going to be good for... Or maybe that was his out lap.
Yeah, that might have been his out lap. And he'll work himself through turn number 1. A little short shoot right here into the S's portion in which this resides. Turns number 2, 3, and turn number 4 off the exit of the S's. Down onto the back straightaway he goes. Of course, long back straightaway. This is where the car is at its fastest into the inner loop slash bus stop, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you live. You might call it an inner loop if you're on European side, but on the NASCAR side, we like to call it a bus stop. And into turns number 5, and here's the, I forgot what turn you call this. It's labeled as something, but it's turn number 5. And a very downhill portion there. Off the short shoot, straight away, and into 8, as Basin's going to call it a lap because he screwed up his first, and after that, turn 7, ahead of it. But yeah, it seems as though everybody else has just logged in at least a lap, except for Wow, who's logging in laps, who's correctly taking turns number 6 and 7 as needed on the racetrack.
And out of 4.
I think he's already logged in 2 laps, so he's just out there running as many laps as he can, just for the heck of it. Might as well get a little bit of practice in. I think that will do it. And again, we'll pull up points here one more time to display on where everybody situates themselves as of right now here on this iSCAR SYMTV Truck Series event.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure if everybody in this top 10 is in the field tonight. I know Parker is. I know Cole is. Schmidt, Weil, Nick, and Mitch. I don't know if the other 4... Carson's here. I don't know about Blaze Crawford and Dominic. I don't think I've seen them yet. And I don't know about Malachi. Hopefully they get in here, though.
I'll just have to see. It seems as though Malachi is here. Crawford, though, I don't know if he's here, so that's gonna be huge. The man who won the pole last round, is now gonna be in a bad spot. So we'll just have to see on how it'll all work out for him. But in the meantime, that warm-up is underway. So drivers getting their fastest too and such on the racetrack. And yeah, that's unfortunate for Blaze Crawford, one of the people I was really looking forward to on how he's going to fare up here tonight.
So that's going to put him in a massive hole going into next week. And I forget off the top of my head where next week's race is, but with everybody else tonight scoring at least 1 point just for, being in the session, with that 4 not being here, he's going to have to really, really step it up next week to try to get himself around at least 3 other people and into the top 7. That'll move on to that round.
Of course, some of these other drivers who didn't make it into the chase, in my opinion, had a well-deserved chance of showing a championship. Of course, Brody Gardner, 55. Unfortunate for him, he didn't even make any chase. I don't think Joe Berge is in this 10-car chase. Omar Diallo in the 77, he deserved a chase spot as well. So, a lot of drivers a lot of very fast drivers. Hunter Johnson, another one who really deserved a chase spot. So,
Josh Patterson had a chase spot locked up until that incident with Omar at Bristol took him out of contention with the penalty he received.
That's right.
But didn't see what that 0-2 could have done in this chase. But I think, of course, with that penalty, he hasn't really been in any races since then. But he would have definitely been one to watch had he not, gotten into the trouble he did. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to have around 20-ish trucks tonight, 21, 22, somewhere around there. So it's going to be a pretty small field overall, especially compared to what we've seen for a majority of the season. But it's not really new for the road courses, though. I mean, we had only, I think, 20 for the Cup race at Sonoma. And I think most sport for trucks, I think, had 40 earlier in the season. But the later the season goes on, I think the less trucks or the less people will show up, especially to races like this. But I think it should still be a pretty solid race despite that. Still a lot of competitive people in here.
Yep, that's right. Should be interesting. Oh god, that's not good. But regardless, it should be interesting to see how everybody could fare up here tonight. Because again, it is a road course, but it's one of the more, I guess, relaxed road courses in comparison to how hectic the Roval and Sonoma could provide, considering the amount of turns they have. But it should be interesting to see on how this will all play out. And to the end of it, of course, who's going to be there and who's going to pick up the checkered flag? It's going to be probably a battle between Parker White and Christopher Weil. And you know how Parker picked up his first win at Sonoma. So with Weil, actually the IndyCar winner here, back when we ran the Summer Series, should be interesting to see on how they're going to fare out.
Yeah, Parker won that Sonoma race by over 35 seconds. It was complete and utter domination. And then won, I don't remember what series and what track, but he won one of the races 2 weeks ago. I think it was the Cup race. I think it was Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. But he's won multiple races now. And I knew somebody like Parker White, it took him a while to get a win, but I knew once he got that first one, a lot of the other ones would start to come easier. And he's already picked up one since then, and we'll see if he can maybe get another one here tonight.
Yep, that is right. Currently 24 seconds remaining in this practice as of right now. Gives us time to talk about race analysis. Here we go on the right-hand side. 2.45 miles in length, 7 turns, all dotted throughout the racetrack. Banking, blank. Straightaways are also blank because they're varied around the racetrack. We're going to run 41 laps here for tonight, so 100 miles in length. The fuel is at 75%, and you see last winner, Malachi Drake, in that number 90, as well as he's the points leader too, so should be interesting on how it'll all fare out for them. But in the meantime of that, finally, we are in for this grid. Congratulations to Parker White in the 095, Cole Williams right alongside of him.
And in row number 2, we'll find the 41 of Christopher Weil and the 83 of Joe Berge.
Row number... Oh, I think I might have skipped a row, but row number 4 going to be Michael Rosero and the number 23, Carson Poindexter alongside of him.
And rounding out the top 10 here, Nick Miller in the 95 and Dominic Howe in the 86. 2 of our 10 remaining chasers. Rest of the order will be shown on the bottom of the screen. Pick your favorite driver and hope they do pretty good, or maybe even pick up the W here tonight. Multiple drivers in this field have already won this season. There's Brody and Omar Diallo. They've both picked up wins so far. There's Hunter. He's won multiple times this season. Malachi, of course, won the most recent race. And Basin and Bianchini both, there's quite a few people here in the field tonight that have scored wins here this season in one of the series. So it looks like we'll have 24 here in the session. And this should be a really, really fun race, even though there's, not as many people as we've been accustomed to seeing most of the year.
Yep, that is right. We'll walk you through the playoff drivers as we get ourselves situated up top. That's one of them, Parker White in the 095, and right behind him, that number 41, Christopher Weil. So 1 and 3 are going to be starting our playoff drivers. So again, they're probably going to be the two to be watched as we progress with the night. Again, both road course ringers, in my opinion, and of course don't want to count out Cole Williams in that number 42. So it should be interesting to see on how it'll all turn out.
Yeah, that 42 is one of those that's been pretty strong for most of the season, but like Carson Poindexter, just hasn't quite been able to get himself into victory lane yet. But I think the 42 and the 21 both have great chances here tonight and for the rest of the season. Look here at Mitch Hobbs in the 89, barely squeaked his way into this round. There's William Schmidt in that Norm Benning paint scheme there. And there's Carson in the 21, just mentioned him a moment ago. Nick Miller, who is back in the chase with Liam Sheen giving up his spot, and Dominic Howe rounding out the top 10, and I believe, or no, he's not rounding out the chasers.
Yeah, there's still a couple more.
Here. Malachi, I think, is back in 23rd. I think he's one of the last trucks on the grid.
Yep, that's
so
right.
He'll have his work cut out for him tonight, trying to go back-to-back here in this series. And, of course, Blaze Crawford not here tonight. So, again, he'll really have his work cut out for him next week.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see on how it'll all play out. But in the meantime of that, about to take the green flag for 41 laps here live at Watkins Glen International. Glad to continue this here live on Max Speed TV. Getting set to go green, the number 095 of Parker White, the last Sonoma winner, will lead the field to the charge. And right behind of him, at number 41, Christopher Weil has been strong all season. Should be interesting on how this top 3 will fan out for this one as you work yourselves through the final corner and on to the front straightaway. Parker White will shoot off the green flag. We're going to go up and away here at Watkins Glen.
Green flag, green flag.
iSCAR gets itself down onto pit road, and we are off and rolling here at Watkins Glen. Green flag for 41 laps to determine who will make it in to the round of 7. Won't lock them in, but important points on the line tonight.
Look at them. They're 4 wide into the corner.
They're wasting no time at all getting racy here.
Yeah, that's right, but that's where the danger zone is, especially into the S's, as everybody fans themselves out and tries to get into a rhythm in through the important corners of lap number 1. And already off into the distance goes the 095 of Parker White. Clears themselves by 0.6 over that number 42 of Cole Williams. First time into the bus stop, and seems as though top 5 are through cleanly. Side-by-side action right behind, and that's Dominic Howe.
Yeah, going side-by-side in the bus stop is pretty risky because it's one of the narrower parts of the racetrack, but so far so good for all of those guys as Parker starts to pull away a little bit from the 42. Looks like about 7/10 of a second is that advantage here so far, but of course still bountiful amounts of time for that 42 to try to reel him back in.
Yep, that is right. So, seems as though we've gotten ourselves through lap number 1 cleanly. Corey Long in the number 93. He pit road started, so he's all the way in toward the back. It should be interesting if he could get himself a couple positions off of that. Meanwhile, top 2, I know they are close, actually teammates. This top 2 were Parker White, Cole Williams. I think they both ran the 24 hours together, so a lot of road course experience on their side, as well as the number 41, Christopher Weil, who's currently sitting in 3rd, and everybody is sort of evenly spaced out. Not lost side-by-side racing, as I say that, Poindexter and Omar Diallo going at it toward the back as Chase Bonser looks like he's spun in turn number 1.
Looks like Menchu and Bianchini did not start the race, but you mentioned the experience that Weil has. Of course, he was the Summer Series Endurance Champion back when we did that series over the summer, so we know that 41 is also one of those guys that can really get it done here on the road courses, and hopefully for that 81, despite that spin, he can try to get himself going back on the right track here pretty soon.
Yeah, that is right. White pulls himself to his second and a 10th lead. Cole Williams right behind. Again, I'd say the first 10 laps, you're just logging yourself a rhythm around this racetrack. As we see some side-by-side action here, it's going to be Sertaj Mon and Kyler Wynn going off the final corner. He's going to get the bike coming into 1. Kyler backed out of it into turn number 1. Doesn't want to go with an aggressive approach on with this one. Oh, Dominic Howell's around.
Oh, one of our 10 chasers here. That is not good for him, as he started himself in 10th, and that's going to drop him a couple of spots. So we'll see what happened to this 86 here going into turn 1. Racing around all by himself. I wonder if he just locked them up here and lost it.
Yeah, just
there he goes.
Loose off the corner, and around he goes.
Kept it out of the tires, thankfully, though.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for that 86. He falls all the way to 19th spot, and of course with a road course, you're not going to get any cautions to really reset yourselves unless an admin throws it. So this 86 is going to be down in a big hole around where it looks like Ryan Kendrick, Malachi Drake, and a couple of others are. So it's not looking pretty for this number 86.
Yeah, still plenty of time, though. I mean, it's likely that this race is probably going to go green all the way, but of course, still, 38 laps to go. We're barely even into this race so far. Still plenty of time for maybe some other people to run into some issues. So the 86 will definitely have his work cut out for him, but not all hope is lost yet.
That's right. Close racing right behind. Omar Diallo in the 77, putting pressure on the 79 and William Schmidt themselves through the bus stop, and you see Nick Miller up in the distance in 8th spot as well. But again, all eyes are on this 095 of Parker White, who's already pulled himself by 2.3 seconds over the 42 of Cole Williams, who seems as though he's starting to fade away just a bit. Everybody from 3rd on back is sort of lurking in the distance. So if this 42 does make a mistake, this 41, 83, and 23 are all going to be lurking to grab that spot.
Yeah, I think there could be an interesting mix here. Maybe some guys taking it a bit easy to start the race. I mean, you don't want to go, too easy and lose too much time, but maybe some guys are going to try to save their tires or maybe save a bit of fuel and try to make it a move later in the race. But for right now, that 095 is checked out on the rest of the field at a 2.1 second lead over the 42 of Cole Williams so far. See if that stands, or maybe that 42 or with 41 or someone else can try to get that lead down to the zeros.
I'm also interested to see on how the pit strategy will play as Michael Brazzero falls to a spot to Brody Gardner in the 55. You're running 75% fuel around this racetrack, so you're not going to be able to really gauge on a full fuel tank like you would on a testing session. So the fuel window is going to be smaller than what these guys really want it to. So is it going to be a 1-stop or a 2-stop race? We're just going to have to find out if these people pit on 20.
Yeah, it should be an interesting mix of strategy here to see when people decide to pit. Probably going to see a couple of early takers that might try to take advantage of the fresher tires, maybe gap some people or jump some people that stay out a bit longer. I'm sure we'll definitely see some of that as this race progresses, but completion of lap 5, the lead between Parker and Cole looks like it stayed around the same. That number might be broken. It's staying roughly the same 3 digits, but still a 2-ish second lead for the 095. And again, with how dominant he was at Sonoma, we know he's a force to be reckoned with at these road courses, but we'll see throughout the night if anybody's got anything for him or if it's going to be smooth sailing just like that race was.
Closest battles throughout the racetrack. It seems as though Omar has already passed William Schmidt in the 79, and Omar's going to have to sneak himself by the 95 of Miller, who is a bit loose off of the S's. Also, some people working from behind, from the back of the field, going forward. Hunter Johnson in the 12 has worked himself into the 12th spot now on the backside of the 21 of Carson Poindexter. But A lot of these drivers around, I'd say 8th on back, are still fairly close to each other. So another close battle here. 3rd place, Joe Bergey's putting pressure on the 41. So how about that for a run with this number 83?
Yeah, doing a pretty good job so far. Started this race up in 4th and still remains there here through 6 laps. So we've seen far too often that 83's had good speed, but unfortunately has run into some kind of issue and doesn't finish where he deserves to. But hopefully for him, he can stay up there all night and get himself a solid finish.
Yep, that's right. See toward the back. Again, Miller and Diallo are going to go at it. You see Hunter has now moved himself back to this number 21 of Carson Poindexter. He's slowly fading away. This number 21, it seems as though he can't get rolling as well as he wanted to. He started himself in 8th, but now is outside of the top 10. Now about to fall into the hands of 12th place. But luckily, there's a big gap all the way from him to the 08 of Dylan Basin, who seems as though he picked up a bit of rear end damage. And Aaron Brown just nailed the outside guardrail.
That's not very good. And
you might have called it a day.
Yeah, I think he might be done now.
Yeah, just getting off the racetrack and before he causes any more.
Looks like that lead for Parker White's starting to grow a bit more. It's closer to 3 seconds now compared to 2. So he's starting to pull away a bit more from that 42. Pretty evenly split, top 10-ish. Schmidt in 10th, about 14 seconds back now of the race leader. These guys are pretty spread out. I think the closest 2 trucks are probably Weil and Burgee right now. And they got a little battle here with Mitch and Diallo. So just as I say that, they proved me wrong right in front of my face. But see if that 77 can get a good run here on the 89 and get a pass for position. Mitch a chaser, Omar not one. Of course, Omar had a pretty rough night the other night in the super late race at Martinsville, trying to redeem himself here tonight. And makes a good move here to the bottom, and this should, I think this should stick here in the bus stop.
Yeah, look how hard he sailed it.
I think Mitch let off a bit earlier, just trying to let him go for now. I think he knew the 77 was faster than he was. He didn't want to risk beating his truck up at all.
Yeah, but unfortunately, here comes Nick.
Just about to say, the risk in doing that is maybe letting off too much and letting yourself fall to the hands of Nick, and that was a nice save there for the 89. If he had lost that, he would have gone right into the guardrail and probably right out of the chase. So, good job there for him to keep that thing pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, but as you said, Nick was right there as soon as Mitch tried to let out for the 77 of Omar. So, Mitch loses 2 instead of the initial 1 he wanted to. And you see right behind William Schmidt also lurking in the distance, and a couple of others. Malachi slowly working himself forward, and you see Don McCow in that number 86 after that spin off of turn number 1 has only brought him in now in 16th spot. So he's slowly working himself forward, but unfortunate for him, has a bit of left front damage.
Yeah, I don't think that damage will hurt too bad, though. Especially if he keeps it clean for the rest of the race. I don't think it should be too much of a hindrance. But he can, of course, do that over and over again, because then that damage will start to really hurt. Lead between Parker, or the gap between Parker and Cole looks like it's around the same. It hasn't really moved around 2.8, 2.9. Looks like Burgee, I think, has gained a 10th or so on Weil, but still not quite within his reach. Has got a couple more trucks snaking their way through the bus stop with Brody right behind these 2, and Mitch just off in the distance. Or Rosero, actually.
Rosero has had a fairly nice run. Currently
He's
resides
had some good runs lately, too.
Yeah, that's right. That's number 23 currently in 6th spot.
Some good speed, and he's shown some pretty decent speed in a couple different series. I think it was Kansas. It was one race, one of the 1.5 mile races. He was up in the top 5 almost all night. And of course, got that top 5 at the Cup race at Talladega. So you know that 23 is competitive. But another one of those where can he make it to victory lane at some point?
Yep, that's right. Some interesting things to point out in the broadcast. You see the I rating and safety rating gauge right there. This is all based off of road iRating. So anybody who's an A class right now, as displayed, is an A class on road. So we'll just scroll through and see what these drivers' ratings are. Of Parker White, 4,000 iRating on the roadside. So no surprise to see him up there. But Cole Williams, on the other hand, 1,900 on the road side, also an A class as well.
Yeah, Parker's unbelievable on these tracks. Looks like Wow about a 3,300, so he's pretty good here as well. Bergie a B class, but has a higher iRating than Cole Williams does. I mean, I'll be totally honest. I don't think iRating necessarily matters all the time, but to each their own, I suppose.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
obviously,
right.
if you have like a 7 or 8,000 iRating, they're insanely talented. But I think in a setting like this, it doesn't necessarily mean as much as it might in a more, I guess, professional setting. If you're talking about going, like Road to Pro or whatnot.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you don't know what these drivers' backgrounds are from the road racing side. Heck, you could just only run global Mazdas and farm iRating off of that. But who knows? They might be running IMSA as for fun on the side, or the open wheel cars like Joe Berge does. I know he runs the Formula 3 and Formula 3.5 series. I mean, not Formula 3.5, but I know he runs a lot of F3 races on the official side as well, and he likes to run the SimLab Production Car Challenge as well. So who knows? I mean, it all has to transition well into the stock car, though. Here tonight.
Bergie's closing in on Weil, I think. I think he's gained another 10th or so on him here.
Yeah, this battle ain't over.
So far.
Yeah, Joe's, again, he's had a nice run in this number 83. Gonna be interesting on how pit stops will nail down for him, as Sertaj Mon in the number 79 looks like he does disconnect. Unfortunate for him.
Schmidt pretty much in an island of his own right now, about 2 seconds behind Hunter and about 2 seconds ahead of Carson, so one of those might be feeling a bit lonely right now, but of course I don't think he necessarily minds. Means it's just less pressure for him to maybe mess up. Doesn't have any guys trying to pressure behind, and doesn't have to worry about maybe overcooking it, trying to pass a car in front of him. So for right now, he can just basically run his own race as long as he's not losing too much pace to the trucks and header behind him.
Yeah, that's right. So, the only real battle here, I say, Nick Miller in the 95, Mitch Hobbs in the 89, also up here as well. So, 95, 89, and 12, 8th through 10th as of right now. And they all have, I wouldn't say necessarily company, but if these drivers do make a mistake, they're going to be joined in with this 79, 21, and 08. That's Schmidt, Poindexter, and Basin all in there as well. And you see the damage on the 08 of Basin. Not really sure where he got it from, but that left side looks absolutely killed.
Yeah, that thing looks pretty pancaked. You see the damage to the rear spoiler as well, so that's going to be quite the handful to drive here for the rest of the night. And I don't know where he's running right now, but of course, more than likely further back than he started. So that's going to be quite the battle, I suppose, with his car or truck to get that thing to the end.
Williams,
speaking of getting it to the end, big bit of a wiggle there for Cole, and just as I was going to say that, he cut that lead for Parker White. He's gained about a second now on that 095. That lead was up around 3 seconds. Now it's about 1.7. So the 42, like I said earlier, he might have been one of those that was trying to save some tires or fuel to maybe make a run at the leader further ahead in the race. So maybe we're starting to see that now, as somebody just overcooked into turn 1.
Yeah, that was Tyler Connors just getting out of the way of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place cars. But I mean, you look at the interval now. Previous lap time by Cole was a 1.16, but Parker hit a 1.17. So definitely something that happened on his last lap that's really hindered him, and he gave up a lot on his previous lap, and now, as you said, the gap just around 2 seconds. And what has Cole found that Parker White hasn't?
Guess for right now, it's more speed, as he's been able to reel him in a little bit. I think Parker may have gotten about a 10th back, but that lead has still started to shrink. But despite that, those two have really started to distance themselves now from Weil and company. I think Weil was around 3 or 4 seconds back, and now he's almost 8 seconds back. So even though the 42 is closing in on the 095, they are both flying compared to the rest of this field right now.
Whoa. The 41 got off track there. This is going to give the opportunity for Joe to have a challenge here. Here he comes.
Good move by Burgee. This is for third across the line, and it is a dead heat. I think the 41 might have had it by just a nose, and nope, the 83 got it. And Burgee will have the preferred line into one, and Weil gives him a bit of a tap there in the middle of the turn, but the 83 for now will complete that pass. So good job there for Burgee to take advantage of a mistake by Weil and get himself up one more spot.
Yeah, Weil went a bit wide, and Burgee was there to make the move, and he did so. Not only that, this battling has sort of reeled in the 55 of Brody Garner, who's now inside this top 5, and he's working forward. Maybe might finish up here in the podium spot as he tries to look around his former teammate, that number 41. But Joe wants to see them battle in the distance right behind, and you already see he's already pulling from this number 41 of Christopher Weil.
Yeah, the 41 might fall into the hands of Brody Gardner here and pretty soon. So not only is the 83 going to complete that pass, he's also going to separate himself now from that 41. Side by side here, that is, I think Basin perhaps is, got a bit loose there. But he will hold on to that spot for now. That's his teammate Poindexter, battling for 12th at the moment.
And one of the closer battles we have throughout the racetrack, but it seems as though Basin will retain the 12th position. Also got a battle right behind for 15th spot. It's going to be Bonser and Dominic Howe going to go at it. Not really going anywhere, but you see that lead. It's closing, so Cole is slowly lurking forward, and Parker might be hiccuping on mistakes here. On lap number 15 or 16-ish, so Cole's there. I didn't expect Cole to really be a contender. I mean, he's sort of, I wouldn't necessarily say an underdog. I just didn't know this dude had road racing talent. So this number 42, he's slowly chopping away on his counterpart's lead.
Prime example so far of why iRating doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, his iRating is like 2,500 less than Parker's is on road, but those two have both been running really good tonight, so
Brody
see if he can continue to close that gap. And a bit of a drift there for Brody out of the bus stop.
Yeah, we'll get a replay of what happened to the 55. He actually disconnected. This is actually a replay, but it seems as though... Whoa!
Oh, no. And that is not good, and that's going to be the end of the road here for Brody tonight. And with us, looks like we're going to be 17 completed at the line. So I'm interested to see when these guys are going to come down pit road, because if they pit right now, it'll be interesting if they can make it all the way to the end. So we'll see when these guys decide to hit pit road. And like I said earlier, I think we're going to see a split strategy of some guys maybe pitting a bit earlier and some others maybe stretching it as long as possible.
Yeah, that's right. I'm curious if they're going to stretch it all the way. I mean, if you're Parker White, Cole Williams' case, you're going to be mirroring off of each other's strategy and try to sort of balance yourself with the driver right in front of you. So, but as in cases like Joe Burgee, you might be wanting to... Oh, I think Parker just took the right-hander onto pit road.
There
so
he goes.
Pit road open this time by, and it seems as though 42, Cole Williams, going to elect to stay out. And this is interesting because, as you mentioned, we are not past halfway. So if you could only stretch it to 17, 18-ish laps, well, heck,
from here.
That's right, you can't.
So could have some people electing for a two-stop race versus a one-stop race, and this could really flip some positions around depending on who decides to elect with which strategy. The 095 will give up the lead, and that will put Burgee for the time being up into P2.
Yeah, and he's the only person on pit road, and will come out right in front of a couple of cars, William Schmidt, Dylan Vason as well, so interesting strategy by the 095. It seems as though he says, oh, I can't make it with just one stop, and he decides to come in with two. I mean, it's close to the halfway point. It's not like a one-stop strategy is not viable, and seems as though Cole stands out another lap, so who knows? I mean,
guess the 42 is opting for that longer run here.
Yeah, that's right.
The 95 opted for a shorter call, so this will be interesting when the 42 finally does come down. Can he end up gapping the 095, or will Parker retain that lead, maybe even gain on it?
Yeah, so not really sure. It's either Parker A is electing for a two-stop strategy, or B is just going for a second, is going for a longer run, coming the second, yeah, for his stint right now. So I'm interested to see on how it'll all balance out once Cole does hit pit road. And Cole was the faster car on the longer run, so I'm just curious why Parker White hit pit road, since Cole is the faster long run car.
Yeah, and if Cole can stretch this long enough to maybe 21, perhaps 22, if he can stretch it that long and this thing goes green all the way, that might allow him to make it all the way to the end on fuel, whereas with the 095 pitting as early as he did, I don't know if he can make it from when he pit.
Nick Miller. I mean, not Nick Miller. It was Nick Miller. He hit pit road. Doesn't display a pit road time, but he did hit pit road. 4-tire gamble for him, as he's in and out. So another driver you have to watch about, who hit pit road 4 laps ago.
Oh.
Whoa.
Well, I think Wow and Burgee both got a bit sideways there.
Diallo works himself in a third.
So Weil loses a spot here, he'll be down into 4th. Still within reaching distance of that 77.
Yep, that's right, so Joe's pulled himself a nice gap over that third place of Omar Diallo, but Omar has plowed himself through the field from 15th place, so his 77, he's probably the fastest car on the racetrack in my opinion, so it's looking well for the 77, finishing wise, but the way he started off this race all the way toward the back, not necessarily where he wanted to start off, but he's climbed himself at a third. Question is, can he get at Parker White or Cole Williams?
As he continues to stay out now, 14 seconds ahead of the rest of the trucks on the track right now. So he's at lap 21, so now he's made it 20 laps. And of course, this race is 41. So if he can make it, I think, one more lap around, I think he'll have enough to make it to the end, as Burgee and Weil both on pit road now. And we'll see who exits in front of where, as those two have been battling for quite some time in this first half of the race.
Joe drops the jack down, and up and away he goes in this number 41 as well, in and out. So a lot of drivers are going and opting with a halfway strategy. Mitch Hobbs also on pit road. William Schmidt in and out, as Mitch now drops the jack, and up and away he goes. You see the 90 of Malachi Drake also in the distance as well. In and out of pit road he goes. So the only person who really opted with a different strategy was the 095 and 95, Nick Miller and Omar Diallo. I mean, not Omar Diallo, but Parker White. So how will they compare to the rest of the field, who majority opts with pitting halfway? As you see the 42, Cole Williams, he goes down on the pit road. And where's the 095 of Parker White?
as Rosero and Diallo both hit pit road, and there's Parker White. So he is going to retain the lead, and he's going to really gain on it, as because he pit earlier, those fresher tires, he was able to make up some time on track before the 42 came in. So that gap was around a second when Parker came in, but this is going to be around a 10, maybe even 15-second gap once the 42 gets up to speed.
Yep, that is right. But now the question is, Parker White was worse on the long run, so how much time will this 42 gain off of this, off of pitting halfway? So, man, that's right. That gap between Parker and Cole is just humongous. See more drivers hitting pit road. The 12, Hunter Johnson, 86, 81. So another wave of drivers just working themselves back onto pit road to get themselves in and out fairly quickly, and up the way they go. And yeah, that gap between Parker and Cole is like 8 seconds. So, well, it was 10 earlier, so now down to 8. It might be working to the 42's advantage, but again, it's still so many laps to go. 20 laps to go to decide this event. And you see the gap there between Parker and Cole. It's fairly big, but in my eyes, it's plausible.
Yeah, for now, it's looking like a great call for Parker to short pit, but the real question is, can he make it to the end since he pit 3 or 4 laps before that 42 did? Because if Parker has to pit again, then it could be a good call for the 42, but if Parker can make it all the way, then I think this is going to work out for sure in his favor. But I think he'd have to make it like 24 laps, 25 laps almost, so it's going to be close.
Nope, that's right. So, see the gap there, 8.8 seconds too. That 095 of Parker White. This is also maiden turn. This pit stop has now created some battles on the racetrack. Joe Bergen and Omar Diallo meet up, and this 77 is knocking on the door for a podium position. So this 83 is going to do all he can as he gets a bit off track, off the course.
Close
but
call there.
The 77 is not going to have the advantage into this corner unless he dives it in harder than he can. But oh, close racing. These two are close on each other, but I don't think it's going to work for Joe. He'll try to maybe cross him over here. Have another shot in the 1.
Can't quite get the nose under out of the last turn. I don't know if he'll send it here in the 1. Looks like he's going to try it as he gets his truck to the low side of that 77. He's going to try to pinch all he can, and that was close. But for right now, the 77 will hold on to that spot.
Yeah, nice job there, but the 77 Omar Diallo just playing his cards out right and gains position on Joe Bergen. Omar has nobody right in front of him to really bother with, but Joe falls in the hands of 4th place while now in 5th. And the battles on throughout the racetrack. Seems as though there's a battle for 12th as now Malachi scoots himself right and gives up a position to Hunter Johnson. So not sure if the 90's just letting him go or some malfunction there on the 90 side as so a lot of smoke there off of turn number 1, and not really sure who that was.
Hopefully it was a blinking issue and not someone that went off.
Hunter's in and out. Gets lapped by the 095 of Parker White. The gap between himself and Williams, 8 seconds. Oh, there's your spinner. That's Ryan Kendrick.
We have our culprit here. And I don't know where he was running at the time. I think he's somewhere around 15th or so. Or 16th. Looks like he's the first truck a lap down right now.
Now, he's worked himself through. Ooh! Left side's on the grass, and just overcooked it into 1 and locks it up. Wasn't the spinner off of the corner, but that 00 is just trying to mind his own P's and Q's, but, you know, he's all over the racetrack, unfortunately.
Trying to hold on.
Yep, that's right. Just trying to survive. He's currently 16th place. As we see battle here for this third spot. Joe Berge's not letting go of the 77.
Yeah, that 83's been really strong tonight. I don't know if anyone was really expecting him to be putting up as good of a performance as he has so far, but he's been one of the best trucks out on the racetrack for the duration of this event. Currently battling with one of the best in the business in front of him and one of the best in the business and behind him. So we'll see what he can do and see if he can get himself around that 77. But with that little hit on the curve, that might let him fall into the hands of the 41, who's right there behind him.
Yeah, that's right. It's a three-way battle here for this third spot. That's Omar, Joe, and Christopher. So, interesting trio between third through fifth. Omar, a lot of wins on his resume as well as Christopher, but Joe is in a checkered flag sandwich right now with none. But he's been close multiple times. Luck on, unfortunately, just hasn't played a favor for him. I'm sure this 83 will find himself in victory lane soon, but... Oh, Omar! Big overshoot right there, and he all F4s, and that will mean Joe will go back into third, and back into the podium spot where he is, and we'll see what this number 41 does, and we'll get a replay of what happened there.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It's another one of those things where you make one mistake all race, and it'll end your night, and you saw it happen with Brody Gardner earlier, and now it's happened with that 77, and we'll see what happened here into the bus stop, and it looks like he just locked them up or something, but Alt F4 before he even got to the tires, so he will be done for the day here on lap number 26.
And this gives everybody right behind a position to gain, and it seems as though a lot of non-chasers have DNF, so we're going to have a close points battle between everybody inside this chase. I mean, Cole's not a chaser, but Joe's not a chaser, but Weil is, and knocking on the back end of Joe to maybe gain a podium position off of this. 15 laps to go, and you see that gap between Williams and White. It's closed down to 6.4 seconds, but here comes the battle for third. That's number 41 knocking on the door to the 83 as they work into the bus stop.
'41's definitely there. Been pretty much lurking all night since that 83 got by him as the 95 of Miller hits pit road. I don't know if this... Oh, Malachi goes way out of the groove there into one. I don't know if this is the first stop of the night or the second one for Miller, but odd to see him on pit road at this point in the race when almost everybody had already come down by now.
Yeah, that's right. Lost a lot of ground doing that. I'm not sure if it was like an incident penalty. Looks like it wasn't. 5X on his resume, so it shouldn't give him a black flag or anything like that, but yeah, it's fairly interesting and really curious what happened there. But Miller falls back one spot now, trying to regain himself forward to get a position on the 81 of Chase Bonser, and you see right there the 12 of Hunter Johnson and the 40, I mean not the 49, the 79 William Schmidt also in this mix as well, and lots of duos battling right in front of this. We got Dylan Bass and Carson Poindexter going at it for 8th. William Schmidt, Hunter Johnson going to go at it. And right behind, another battle is Chase Bonser and Nick Miller. So a lot of action going on 7th through 11th as of right now.
Yeah, Miller, despite pitting, still hovers around 11th place, so just outside the top 10 as they run. And speaking of the top 10, battle here between 9th and 10th. That is Johnson and Schmidt. 79 has the advantage for the time being, but the 12 is going to try to make a run here. And with Miller and I don't know who that other truck is right behind, could become a 4-truck battle here pretty soon.
As Chase Bonser in the 81 also lurking forward as... yeah, a lot of action going on throughout the racetrack now, which was a very uneventful... Oh! I thought that was a truck stuck in the wall, but... just hallucinating there, but what has been a very uneventful first half of the race has now bloomed into a multi-truck battle throughout the racetrack, and see 3 of them battling it out for this top 10 spot. There's Schmidt, who is sideways off the corner. This number 12, Hunter Johnson, is going to have a challenge in, and here comes Nick Miller also in tow to maybe grab this spot as well if these two make a mistake right in front. But Schmidt currently running fine as of right now. Haven't really talked about him as Miller makes a stand in on the 12. of Hunter Johnson, trying to get him on the outside, and Hunter gets he gets loose off the corner, and here comes Miller on the high side.
Good opportunity here for the 95 to get himself into the top 10. But Hunter will have the preferred line into one, but he clips the curb, so the 95 will have a shot, and near contact between the two of them out of one, and they'll be side by side here through the S's. We'll see who can get the advantages. Hunter has the advantage here with the right-hander, but Nick will have the advantage here in the left, and Hunter will have the advantage up here, but Nick will clear before he gets there. So a good move there for the 95, gets himself a valuable point as he tries to get himself in the next round.
You talk about a lot of advantages through the S's. It's so hard to keep yourself side by side, but there's more right-handers than lefts, and that number 95 and Miller just prevailed off the final corner, and he shot forward now in 10th, but Hunter Johnson, he's there as well as Bonser.
Yeah, and the 81 spun very early on in this race. I think it was within the first 5 laps he went around. So it goes to show you that even though a track like this that's so big and so spread out, you know, it's not over if you spin out that early, and he's been able to recover now up into P12, and still 11 more laps at the line for him to try to gain even more spots back. So the 81, despite that early spin, could potentially get himself a top 10 before this night's over.
Yep, that's right. This battle for second still not over yet. Joe is holding strong here with this. Christopher is still holding on strong here with this 83 as they go side by side yet again. And this is between a different driver to Nick Miller. It's going to be Schmidt who falls a spot down to 10th place, and Miller moves himself up 1 now. And has a long ways ahead to this number 21 of Poindexter. And where in the world did Parker White go?
That's a problem.
Yeah, he's in 5th. What in the world happened?
Oh, did he pit the last time by?
No, I mean, yeah, he did. So,
okay.
A second stop by this 095.
So that means he wasn't good on fuel.
He wasn't good on fuel. Wow. So, this might have gifted the 42 the win.
I mean, he's got 17 seconds up on Burgee, so Parker, for the short run, looked like that short pitting was the right way to go, but turns out he was not good on fuel, so even though Cole lost some ground to Parker by stretching it out, in the long run he's going to gain a lot more, as now that 095 finds himself 25 seconds behind the man he was just in front of by about 10.
Now this
so
explains...
35-second swing there.
That's right, this explains why Nick Miller pit earlier. And now he's working himself, or at least attempting to work himself forward. But, yeah, Parker, unexpected pit stop for him. On the pit road he goes. Now the question is, can the rest of the drivers make it on fuel just with 1 stop? We're just going to have to find out, but Parker's strategy of 2 stopping it, not the favor, and he still has, you know, I want to say it's 24 seconds all the way to this number 42, Cole Williams. He's just trying to pull himself up and away, but yeah, not a good strategy there by the 095, but regardless, he's going to finish top 5, but not where he wanted to be in contention of a win. Now, all eyes are on this number 42, Cole Williams. Can he get it done and for his first ever iSCAR win?
Yeah, that 42 yet to visit victory lane here in iSCAR and has a golden opportunity here with a 17.5-second lead coming in 9 laps to go. Looks like he's about to put the 86 of Dominic Howe a lap down, which will leave us with 13 on the lead lap. With this 42, he's got pretty much smooth sailing from here on out as long as he can keep that truck out on the racetrack and doesn't lose an immense amount of time to Burgee every lap.
Yeah. Again, he has, if that number 42 isn't good on fuel, he has 17 seconds to play with, rather than Berge, who has a second to the 41 of Wild to do some ground, so, should be interesting as we progress with this one. So, 9 laps to go this time by. Parker, now in 4th, has a second to 41 of Weil and the 83 of Joe Berge, but I don't think Parker's even going to be remotely close. And Parker did take on 4 tires like he did last stop, but man, I just find it a bit bizarre that Parker tried to go with two 2 stops rather than 1, and he might have thrown away this race.
I don't know. I'll say this. That gap was about 26 seconds when he came off pit road. That gap is now 21 and a half. He is now gained, as Dominic almost goes off trying to get out of Cole's way. But Parker White has gained like 5 seconds almost since he came off pit road. He's already gotten by Rosero. I mean, I don't know if he'll be able to gain up 21 seconds in 8 laps and change. But he has already gained a considerable amount of time since coming off of pit road. But what a story it would be if Parker could somehow make up 21 seconds in 8 laps. He'd basically have to pick up 3 seconds per lap. So we'll have to watch that ticker closely as it continues to go closer and closer, now down to about 20 and a half. So if that goes within about 3 seconds of a lap, I mean, this, in theory, may not even be over yet.
Just have to see on how it'll all turn out. Battle here for 7th place. It's going to be Basin and Miller going to go at it. Also, see a bit of a battle right behind as Hunter Johnson in the 12 has disconnected. So, the 12 now DNF, so another non-chaser out of the race. So, this will inch more of these chasers forward as Schmidt a bit wide through turns number 6, and Bonser's on him.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier how Chase spun early in the race and is now up to 12. Dominic spun earlier, and he's back into 13th, and I think he was around 19th or 20th after that spin, so he's gained like 6 or 7 spots back since then, as Nick saves it out of turn 1. Good job there, but he'll drop that spot to Basin. But this has been a pretty solid night overall for the Chasers. Most of them have stayed, for the most part, out of trouble. Hopefully I don't jinx that. But with all these non-chasers dropping out of the race, I think we only have 1 or 2 non-chasers now in this top 10. So it's going to be a great points day for most of them, and it means that Blaze Crawford's going to have even more work for him next week.
Yeah, that's right. Miller clips the grass, and seems as though he's slowly fading as the run progresses. Nice run by the 89 of Mitch Hobbs. His 6th spot as of right now. Of course, you see his iRating 1,000 and 1,100, and he's a rookie on road, but man, he does have some talents being shown here on the NASCAR side. So this number 89 of Mitch Hobbs, it's looking pretty for him.
Yeah, and look at that. He's a rookie class on these road courses with an iRating of only around 1,100. So another one of those deals where the iRating does not always mean that much. Because you would think that, you know, the guys with, you know, 4... Oh, and there goes Basin. And he will hold on to it, though. Nice save there. Oh, jeez.
Poindexter just had to whip it right just to get to the inside of him, but as you mentioned, another non-chaser, I mean, another example of iRating not really proving factor here tonight, as Basin's still off pace, and Schmidt has a monster run on him. Gonna probably fling it to the low side, maybe to take advantage of it, and here he comes.
Yeah, and that 08's had damage for like the entirety of this race, so I think this might be a deal where the bad handling of that truck might have finally caught up to him. You see all the damage he's had to that spoiler, as they're still side by side here going into the carousel. And look at Chase Bonser right behind these two at 81, trying to get himself into the top 10 now after that early race spin. So one little slip up from either Basin or Schmidt, and that 81's going to top 10 again.
Yeah, these three are still close to each other, and it seems as though Basin doesn't want to take the bait into the corner because he knows the 79 will overshoot it. Whoa. Easy pass there for Basin as Schmidt tied off the corner, and Basin will move himself back into 9th. But now for... Oh! Basin tags the outside wall!
Yeah, I think Basin might have slapped the tires there, so now Schmidt and Bonser will both gain on the, that 08. And into 1, looks like the 79 will stay tucked in behind the 08 for now. But I think Schmidt might have the better truck. It's just, can you keep it clean enough to stay by him?
Not only that, look at in the distance. This number 21 of Poindexter just trying to roll through the S's. He sees these three sneaking up right behind and all in close proximity, 8th through 11th as, oh, big wiggle there from Basin as now Schmidt tries to gun in like he did previous lap. Not going to really work for him, and seems as though Joe has fallen back to 3rd, so Parker has now passed into second place, but it's 16 seconds all the way to Cole Williams in the 42.
Yeah, so it might be over for the lead, but that 095 still has gotten himself back into second, and he's continuing to tick away time. It's under 16 seconds now, so at this rate, he's going to have to pick up around 4 seconds a lap if he wants to get to the 42, maybe have a spare lap to actually make the pass. And I don't know if he'll be able to do that, but I think by the end of this race, he could maybe get it to around 10 seconds.
We just have to see, though. Rosaro's on an island of his own, as well as Hobbs, and Joe's blinking out severely, unfortunately, but luckily he still regained traction. Schmidt goes around, into the tires he goes, and that'll lose him at least a couple of spots, and Schmidt, potential positions being lost right there. He falls himself back to 11th.
Valuable points for the 79 slipping away, and look at that truck in the distance in the S's. Actually, he's the that's Cole.
That's right.
Schmidt's the last one on the lead lap right now. So for the time being, he's fine, but he's going to go a lap down here. And I think that next truck is Malachi. So depending on how much damage that 79 just picked up, he could be at risk of losing that spot to the 90 as he enters the bus stop. But, even if he doesn't lose any more spots, still, of course, not the thing you want to do.
Yeah, that's right. Schmidt now left side damage on that machine as he's a bit sideways in front of the leader. Oh my goodness, that is not what Cole wants to see. Off his windshield, and now he'll sneak himself to the low side, and Schmidt moves out of harm's way, or at least trying to keep himself on the lead lap. We'll have the position into this corner right here.
And the 42 will clear, so the 79 will go one lap down. So I think at this point, the 79's just got to focus now on keeping that 90 behind him with only 3 laps to go. Of course, he can't really advance his position with these 3 so far ahead. At this point, he's got to stop the bleeding and make sure that 90 doesn't get by him and he doesn't lose any more points.
Yep, that's right. Still a 3-car battle here for this 8th spot. Again, every position valuable to everybody inside this playoff. And for this number 21, a Poindexter, he wants to pull himself away from these couple of non-chasers right behind who are just running for fun. Dylan Basin and Chase Bonser in the mix of this 3-car battle. Miller, again, on an island of his own, as well as Mitch Hobbs, around 18 seconds to the car in front of Michael Rosero. And then we have this 2-car battle. I mean, what was a 3-car battle, but Parker White has now pulled himself forward.
Under 14 now. He's not gaining at a fast enough rate where... Oh, no!
Whoa!
Oh, Schmidt's hard into the tires again! Oh, man, just lost it out of the carousel. And that might be it for him. I don't know if he can get that thing around for 2.5 more laps. That was a huge hit.
Yeah, and he lost a spot to the 90, Malachi Drake. So Schmidt, his good run is slowly starting to fade, and that truck...
Dominic's not that far behind. Oh, no, that's Burgee, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, no, well, actually, there he is.
Yeah, there's Dominic, and there's Schmidt coming off the final corner, but... Yeah, 2 to go this time by is Schmidt. Man, that's unfortunate for him. He had a nice run, but it's faded. And here's your leader. It's number 42, Cole Williams. I mean, as I said, that's right.
I think Parker pit with 11 to go. And again, he was 26 seconds back. So Parker's picked up 13 seconds in 10 laps. And again, that's not a fast enough clip to get to him. But still a really impressive run. That he's been able to make up that much time, even though it won't be enough. And I think if this was one of those deals where if it was a bit longer of a race, I mean, who knows, he maybe would have been able to get there. But under 13 seconds now, but for Parker White, time is running out, as that 42 getting ready here to take the white flag.
That's right. Cole is 0 out of, I think, 30-something starts. He'll cross the start-finish line in first place. All he has to do is just coast it around for 2.45 laps, and he'll be an iSCAR winner finally. We talked about it. This was another driver on our resume that we just kept on talking about. When is he going to get his first win? Same situation with Parker White, and same scenario. It seems as though he's going to pick it up on the road course.
And it's going to be over 10 seconds, looks like, for margin of victory as well. Parker won by over 35 at Sonoma. It looks like for right now that's going to be around a 12.5-second gap for Cole. So as long as he can make it around the last half of this lap cleanly, he will have finally gotten that first career iSCAR win.
Yep, that's right. He works himself through the carousel. That's the nickname of this corner. The carousel. That's what I was looking for. Down from the downhill portion onto the short chute.
Here he goes.
That's right. How about that for this number 42, Cole Williams? He's made a handful amount of stars. Was the points leader in the Xfinity Series before he dropped out. Of course, he came in here a non-chaser, but luckily for him, entering in here for tonight has been the real deal for him. Off of the 7th corner, checkered flag, and Cole Williams will pick up his first iSCAR Series win here at Watkins Glen.
Congrats to him on finally getting it done. Executed that pit strategy perfectly. Stayed out just long enough to make it to the end on fuel, and that will beat Parker White short pitting, but that 095 will still get a great finish there in 2nd place. As Burgee will have a great finish tonight. Great job for him there to get himself into 3rd. While 4th, it looks like Rosero's going to round out 5th. The racing not over yet. Poindexter, Basin, and Bonser, these guys are all still battling for position. I think this is 10th, 11th, and 12th, if I'm not mistaken.
It's 7th.
So still positions up for grabs right now, as Basin trying to get by his teammate here, who's probably telling him, please don't pass me, I need this point.
Yep, that's right, and he work off the... Oh, the carousel, Basin's not letting go of Poindexter. He has a couple more shots to maybe send it in the corner, and Basin's going to look down low, maybe pressure this 21 into a mistake. Both of them very hard into the corner, and I think that might have sealed it. Nope, Basin's still there. What's going to happen in the final one?
Here he goes. And it looks like it's not going to be enough. And Basin holds on, but Poindexter will retain that spot. And Bonser's going to have a run up high. And
he took it!
Hard in the wall across the line. So Poindexter will get 7th, Bonser 8th, and Basin 9th, or 8th, 9th, and 10th, rather. As Basin will just barely finish the race, but job well done to Cole Williams in the 23, as we'll get a celebratory tap there from Micah Rosero in the 23. And he'll burn it down here in the front stretch. Hopefully, he saved enough fuel to be able to do one.
What a victory. About time this 42 picked up his first ever iSCAR win. He's come close so many times, but to do it over one of iSCAR's best, the 095 and the 41, well deserved. And scoot himself to the front straightaway. Of course, rev it up and start burning it down. There he goes.
And looks like he did in fact save enough fuel to do a burnout, so wonder if he had that in mind when he came down pit road. Unofficial results here tonight here at Watkins Glen. Cole Williams takes his first ever iSCAR win here tonight. Parker White rebounds from having to pit again to get that runner-up spot. Joe Burgee, a great run for him tonight there in 3rd. Christopher Weil and Micah Rosero round out your top 5. Great points day for Mitch Hobbs there in P6. Nick Miller, Carson Poindexter, Chase Bonser, and Dylan Basin round out your top 10.
And 11th through 20th, Malachi Drake, William Schmidt, Dominic Howe, Ryan Kendrick round out the cars who are lapped down. Everybody from 15th on down, all DNF. So Tyler Connors, Hunter Johnson, Omar Diallo, Brody Garner, Sertaj Mon, Aaron Brown round at the top 20.
And the last couple trucks on the grid, Kyler Wynn left early, and then Corey Long, I think, pit started, but then didn't even start the race. Bianchini and Menchu also did not start tonight's event. As Cole still burn it down here to turn 1. We'll be back here in just a couple of moments with the top 3 interviews, and it should be a good one here from the 42. So we'll be back here in just a few moments, and we'll see what this 42 has to say about his first ever iSCAR win.
Earnhardt, defending champion, a man who has won here at this racetrack. He has been absolutely second to none in 1987.
Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win, his 4th win of 1987 out of 6 Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
Everyone's wondering what can stop Dale Earnhardt. He's on a roll, 4 wins and 6 starts. I mean, is there anybody can handle you?
There may be a little more here underneath the sheet metal.
Well, I'm sure this afternoon we'll know a lot more, and we've got 500 miles to run. We'll see what happens.
Good luck today.
Our magnificent 19th annual $500,000 Talladega 500 is won by Dawsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott, and the siren is beginning to ring. You'll probably hear it in Dahlonega. Bill Elliott has won. Davey Allison second.
Elliott now getting a challenge from Tim Richmond, but he closes again right in behind Earnhardt, coming down off turn 4. And Earnhardt loses it, goes on the grass, comes back, and Elliott goes inside. And Earnhardt still got the lead. Incredible. Decent driving by Earnhardt. 7 laps to go. Earnhardt went on the grass.
Dale Earnhardt is reminding Mr. Elliott, you make one mess up like that, and I might get through.
When you come to North Wilkesboro on a short racetrack, you expect some fender to fender and even some paint trading going on out there. We've seen it already as Brett Bodine gave Jerry Kramer a nudge in the rear end, and now we're seeing some great competition out there between Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott.
And we welcome you here back live for the iSCAR SYMTV Truck Series event, rounding himself out in victory lane for the first time ever here in the iSCAR Racing Series. Congratulations to Cole Williams in the number 42 for picking it up here tonight, and we'll go ahead and drag him into the booth here in just a moment. But of course, here on the road course side, a bit more interesting than casual oval races. Dewey, what you think of tonight?
Well, I'll say I wasn't surprised to see that the race went green all the way, but there was still some pretty solid battles there, even though it was a smaller field than we've been accustomed to seeing. But Cole Williams, despite all of that, job well done, and it ended up being pit strategy that decided the race, as his call to stay out longer bests Parker White's decision to short pit, and I'm not surprised at all to see that was the case. But finally, at 42, gets himself into victory lane. And enough about us. Let's see what he has to say about it.
Into the booth he goes. Cole Williams rounds himself out his first ever iSCAR victory after multiple starts. About time, Cole, and for you to pick it up over Parker White and Christopher Weil and Joe Berge. What a victory. And of course, it came down to strategy toward the end. Parker elected with a 2-stop strategy. You elected with 1. It turns out yours was king here tonight. Congratulations, Cole. First words.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, I guess he just had to. We were just talking voice chat and stuff, and I guess, and he was on our race laps. He was just burning way more fuel than me for some reason. I don't really know what was going on. I wasn't clutching. I knew we didn't really have to save. And I tried to. I was just checking him. Like I was trying to see like what gears he was using. I mean, we're running the same exact RPM, and I guess he was just burning more fuel. And that obviously helped. Somehow we were able to keep within 3 seconds on a road course with Parker White. That's something it's unheard of, at least for at least someone like me. So that's a plus. We were doing really good with the tires. That was the main thing out of this race to take away. Was usually I just burn the rears up, and after about halfway I'm just dropping like a rock. But this race I felt like it was the other way around. I felt like I was a little bit slower on the short run. Obviously put down a hot lap for like a heater, as they like to say, for a qualifying lap. That was nice, and that I think that also helped just in general. Starting on the front row was just really helpful, and then we just didn't cave under pressure when those guys were right behind us at the start. And yeah, we just took care of the tires, took care of the car, made no mistakes, and we were able to bring it home.
Yep, that's right. You called it out perfectly. It seems as you were the better car on the longer run on that first half of the race. So that gap started to dwindle down under a second to you and Parker White before Parker decided to pit on his first of 2 stops that he made. So, what do you think made the difference to you be a better long run car here tonight? You just said typically you're just worse on the longer run, but you're just conserving tires, different steering ratio. Just talk to me about it.
I honestly, I really don't know. I felt like I used to drive it. I just felt like maybe just a little bit more smooth overall. I had a league race here a couple days ago at Watkins Glen. It was a custom setup, and it was a way higher torque jump, but still, I mean, it worked kind of the same way. The fall off was a lot better here. There was way less fall off in this than there was there, and that just means extra track time and extra practice time, and that just helps in general. But I felt like maybe being a little more smooth. I didn't change steering ratio or anything like that. Change the offset, but that's really just for comfortability because the setup it was off to the left on the straightaways, and I think that's a little bit weird. But I don't know, maybe if that made a difference. I didn't really change the brake bias. I didn't really do anything other than just drive it a little more smooth. Try to short shift a little bit. Mainly the carousel. I felt like maybe that might have been the place where the setup it's going to be all about the left rear tire, and they're mainly the rear tires with left rear wears substantially over the rest of them. And we only took 25% out of them. Or out of it on the first run, and I mean that's a little bit more than a percent a lap, and at a road course that's pretty outstanding. So I was just trying to figure out a way to maybe use up the fronts a little more, try to get it biting, trying to get it driving off the front tires a little bit more, and I think that worked a little bit. And also just I mean at the end of the day he likely still would have beat me without the strategy call or whatever. If not, would have been very close. But I mean, we weren't really on the limit. I think that's another thing is maybe we were a little bit off the limit. Maybe I just have some raw speed and I'm able to get off the limit a little bit and still be fast. I think that's another thing because we were. I mean, I clipped the grass going into my last corner and completely ruined it on my qualifying lap. I might have had 13 in that. So I guess this is just going to be one of the car and track combos that really stands out for me, and I'll definitely try it in official and other league races. This will be something to look out for. It's Watkins Glen in general. I know B cars, Denise Stein series going there on a Sunday, so we'll look forward to that now that Watkins Glen have it mastered.
Yep, that's right, man. 10-4, and of course you're coming into the Xfinity Series as a playoff driver as well, so it should be interesting on how you fare out, especially after your truck win here tonight, man. Congratulations on the truck victory and your first ever iSCAR victory. But before I let you go, any sponsor want to thank you for tonight?
I just want to thank Media Racing, of course, the beautiful Eli Comerford designed Media Racing Stealth Energy Appella Gaming truck. Shout out to Appella Gaming Stealth Energy. Of course, he's Custom Diecast for coming on, being great sponsors. Thanks to you, Max Speed Broadcasting. Shout out to Parker. He definitely, over the time, has helped me out a little bit on the road courses and just watching him. And I know he's just an absolute terror on really anywhere, but these road courses, he's wildly fast. And I finally was able to kind of get at least close here today. So shout out to him, and yeah.
Alright, but 10-4, Cole Williams rounded himself out in first after showing himself in second, leading 18 laps out of the scheduled 41. Congratulations, bud. We'll go ahead and see you come to your next race, bud.
Thank you, man.
Alright, let's get ourselves back one spot to the 095 of Parker White. And Dewey will go ahead and take this one away.
Alright, Parker, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Man, won the pole, pretty much dominated that first half of the race, but Cole ended up leapfrogging you when you had to pit again. Did you try to short pit hoping that Cole would have to pit again, or was that just a misjudgment? What do you think happened there?
No, I couldn't even make it to halfway. Like, I remember Cole and I were comparing fuel in Discord, and like my usage was like way higher than his, and we weren't doing anything different. So there was definitely something weird there. So I had to pit. Like, I almost ran it dry when I came in the first time. Like, I don't know what was up with that. So I had to try to pick up the pace and do a 2-stop, but I just didn't have any pace really that entire race. Just like Watkins Glen, I feel like is one of my worst road courses. Like, I can't really find the speed that I need at this track. But we had a little bit of speed in the first half of the race. Then we kind of fell off a little at the end of that run. Then I had to pit for fuel. So I had there was a really big gap behind Cole, because Cole is really fast tonight, and I'm happy that he could get his first win here because he's really been deserving that for a while. So after that first stop I made, I just tried to put some laps down and gain as much time as I could on like Cole and everyone, because I knew it'd be a race between me and like basically whoever was in second at the time, because I didn't think I was going to catch Cole. because he had a lot of pace here, and just the way that the tires fall off, I wasn't going to end up catching him. So I came in the second time, and I made up quite a bit of time on those first few out laps on Cole. But then just tires equaled out, and I couldn't find any speed at all. So, yeah, if the Cup race at the Roval is another fuel strategy race, I don't think we'll come out on top. Like I feel like I definitely had a winning track here tonight, but just something like as stupid as fuel strategy came down to the end. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll try it again tomorrow night at the Roval.
Well, I mean, even though you didn't end up getting the checkered flag tonight, second place still pretty good, and it's still a great points night for you as you try to get yourself onto the round of 7. So what are you going to have to do next week to make sure you get yourself into that round of 7 and able to compete for a championship?
Yeah, I'm just going to try to have fun with it like I've been doing. Like, I've just been trying to have fun with these races, like, at least at ovals. And the results have really shown. Like, I think the last time we raced here, road course is just last week. I had, like, my worst finish the entire week was, like, 3rd, so I definitely need to keep this up, because if I can keep this up, I think we'll definitely be a contender for the championship.
That is for sure. You know you have the speed for it. Just got to make sure you keep doing what you've been doing. Before we go tonight, any sponsors you want to thank here?
Yeah, I've got to thank my team, Rail Motorsports. Gave me the pretty fast track here tonight. Just couldn't really get the speed out of it to show. And I've got to thank Bunch and Lawn Care and Eel Media for being on the truck. And, of course, I've got to thank you guys up here at Max Speed TV for all the awesome broadcasts every week.
All right, Parker White, runner-up here tonight at the Glen. Hope to see you back here for the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.
That was Parker White in the 095. We'll go ahead and drag in this number 83, Joe Bergen. I'm pretty sure this number 83 is excited to run himself out in 3rd, especially after a great run here tonight. Joe, got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Joe, congratulations, man. 3rd place over the best in the business, that number 41 to Christopher Weil, man. What a drive for you. It seemed as you were just trading off positions left to right, and eventually you came out up top, and you run your way with your podium finish here tonight at Watkins Glen. So congratulations, bud. First off, walk me through it.
Honestly, at the beginning of the race, at the beginning of the session, I thought we're not going to be making past turn 1 because we were having trouble handling the truck, especially around the S's. I kept overshooting the turns. Then all of a sudden, I pulled a 14.6 out of my butt. I don't know how, and then all of a sudden, going into turn 1, I thought, hey, maybe this might not end up being that bad. Thankfully, we didn't end up getting wrecked by something stupid today. Thankfully, I didn't screw up as much, but I almost did a couple of times. But honestly, I think just saving tires was probably the biggest I don't know what the word is for it. The biggest thing to take from that, because honestly, from what I saw, Weil was burning his tires off in the first run before we ended up pitting. I think Omar was as well. Brody was before he spun. I don't know how I was. I thought I was burning them off a little bit, but I don't know. I think it's just Watkins Glen. I'm not really that bad at that track if I don't end up getting hit by someone being stupid. But yeah, finishing in front of Christopher Weil of all people, it's a good feeling. I actually felt fast today.
Yeah, that's right, man. Not only that, top 5 finish to round yourself out here at Watkins Glen. Of course, you're coming in here as a non-chaser, I think. So
unfortunately,
yeah, unfortunately,
a non-chaser.
But of course, regardless, to finish ahead of some big names, Christopher Weil, Nick Miller, and all those other guys who usually run toward the front. What does this mean for you and the momentum you're going to carry over to the next road course races? Of course, we're going to be running Charlotte coming tomorrow, and of course, back at it again at Glen on Sunday.
Well, the Roval I'm pretty good at, I'd say. I haven't run it since Official went there for ARCA. And Xfinity, I'm just going to hope and pray. I'm just going to hope I don't end up over the barrier. But like I said, finishing in front of Weil, that's probably going to be if hopefully I'll be able to do it again next 2 nights, especially for Sunday, because that's the one that counts, because I'm actually in the playoffs in that. Set's a little on the loose side for my liking, but I mean, so is this one. I feel like won't be a problem. As for maybe some other playoff drivers, essentially mostly Nick. Just gonna hope he doesn't run somebody over this time. No, I'm kidding, Nick. But just gonna hope we don't end up getting taken out by either non-chasers or chasers themselves. But I think as long as we're consistent, as long as we can save tires enough, like we did tonight, and not run into any trouble, I think we'll be all right.
All right, bud. 10 for Joe Berge rounds himself out in 3rd place after starting himself in 4th. Before I let you go, bud, any special want to thank you for tonight?
I got to thank Ronald McDonald House Charities. I got to thank Red Bull, Camden Murphy, William Schmidt for making this fantastic scheme, and also some more schemes that will be hopefully run later in the season. Got to thank some of my friends. I don't know if they're watching the stream. Manny, Jason, all them guys for watching, supporting. We're just gonna hope we can advance. It was good to run up front tonight for the most part, but I think the biggest goal, or the biggest eye as of now, or what I'm aiming for, is what the result's going to be on Sunday.
All right, bud. 10 for Joe Berge, carrying a lot of momentum from his 3rd place finish here tonight, coming toward the Sunday race at Watkins Glen. Congratulations, bud, in 3rd place. Can't wait to see you coming to the Sunday one.
Thank you.
And that was Joe Berge in number 83.
Man, shout out to Camden Murphy too, by the way. Got 13th in the truck race tonight at Daytona. So best luck on both of their sides here tonight. But that'll wrap it up here tonight at Watkins Glen. Congrats once again to Cole Williams on picking up his first ever win here in iSCAR. If you're looking for more action for the rest of the weekend, we'll be back tomorrow night at 9:45 for the Cup race at the Roval. And we'll be back here at Watkins Glen again on Sunday for the Nice Design Series. So still got 2 pretty good road course races coming up, and hopefully they're even better than this one was. For Ezeckiel Reyes, I am Dewey Schramm. Thanks for watching.